Hey guys, Marty here, and today I'm going to be installing the Torqit Airbox. We're going to be taking out the original Airbox system and replacing it with a brand new one, which is about twice the size. It's going to have a lot more airflow through it, and it's going to make things run way more peachy. So it's going to be the first step for my Snorkel install. I'm going to have to obviously put the Airbox in, and then when the tubing and stuff comes with the Snorkel, I'm going to put all that in. That'll be a different video, but for now we're just going to be focusing on the Airbox. As you can see, I have a light set up here, and I've got another GoPro there just for a bit more close-up. So I've got Jess on the camera there, who's going to hopefully do her best to try to follow me along. But other than that, let's get started. So start off, tools. What are you going to need for this job? It's actually a really simple job, and to be honest, after reading through the instructions, I went through it once or twice. It's actually pretty straightforward. So we're going to need a screwdriver, just like a normal little flathead, nothing too fancy. It does actually say to use spanners and pliers. I don't know where I'm going to use my spanners, but I definitely know where I'm going to use pliers, and a little socket set. Just the socket sets, because there's a few screws in there that you need to take out. And the first thing we need to do is actually grab a socket set, because we need our trusty number 10. That's the one that you've already lost, so if you can't find it, that's why. And we start with these two screws here. So the first screw is this one right here, if you want to come in. So there's this little guy here on the top, and there's actually another one I can show you on this camera, is just under here. So I'm just going to start by taking those out. Now the next step, I'll just grab the flathead screwdriver and take off the little collar on the top here. So you just got to undo this one here. You see that this little tab will actually move down a little bit. There you go. And that actually loosens up this whole metal collar. So once that's loose, this whole thing, it's just a rubber. There you go, get rid of the screwdriver. It's just a rubber flange. It should just come straight off. Well, I'll start with this side first because I know this one just comes off. All right, that can come off. Come on. You know what? There you go. So yeah, so that's just pulls off, and it just clips on there like that. There's a bit of a lip there, and that's what's giving me grief. So if I pop this thing off, I should be able to take that lid off. There you go. Oh, there you go. It just fell straight out, so that's gone. That's the old one. This is the air filter, so that's got to come out. No, as you can see, I've already had some water come up inside my actual air filter. So the great thing is about the Jimny now, got a pretty good design. They do bring the air in underneath and then suck it up through the filter and then into the air intake. So as you can see, I've obviously had some moisture and some water in there. The filter has obviously caught a lot of that, but in here it's dry as a bone. So that's fantastic. Now, this should just, oh, there's one more clip here that we need to undo. I think that's where the pliers come in, because you need to get underneath it and unclip it, which is like just underneath there. But what I might do is I'll just see if I can get this to pop out. There is another connection at the front here. What is that? Is that just a, you just need a faith and pull it out. There you go. All right, now the airbox is out. We just need to take out this little bracket here, which has removed two screws. I've already taken one out of here, and there's another one just underneath here. So give me 2 seconds just to get under there and get this little guy. All right, so this one is just a hose clip here. I'm just gonna pop that off without damaging the hose. That'd be great. And this one looks like another one of those clips I just need to squeeze from the back. So I'll just grab my pliers. And as I did with the last one, just squeeze the two sides, like on the outside and the wider side, and the whole thing just pops in like that. And that is our bracket that we don't need anymore. Alrighty. So now that we've got all of that out of the way, there is a couple of brackets there, but this is pretty much now opened up the whole space for the airbox to go in. There's just one more thing we need to do. I'm just going to tuck this out of the way. So we need to remount this whole thing. It's the ECU controller. I'm going to take the whole thing off. Now I do have my solenoid from the headlights mounted to here, so I need to obviously relocate that. But at the moment this should be a pretty simple task as well. Once again, it's just a couple of bolts at the bottom, these two screws at the top, and then the whole thing should come out, and then we replace it with another unit. So let's get into that. So first off, I need to get my extension. I'm going to put all this together and get to the little bolts at the bottom here. There you go. So that should be actually loose right about now. Now the thing is, there's actually a lot of other cables and stuff that are clipped to it, which is no really mention of that. So I need to undo this one at the top here, obviously. There you go. As I said, like I didn't even need to use a spanner on that one. I just like twisted it with my hand. They're not on super tight or anything, so you don't need to be Superman to get these off. There should be one more. Where is it? At the bottom there. So there is actually another one. There's one here, and there's actually another one at the bottom, just down here. So I get my mitts on that one. Where is it? Yeah. All right, that one is a little bit stronger, so I'm just going to use a little bit of encouragement. There you go. That's all you need to do. You just need to give it a turn once or twice, and then the whole thing will just come straight out. Yeah. All right, so there's your 5 screws. So now this is actually completely loose. And this is the mounting bracket we actually have to remove. So as I said, I do have my solenoid on there, so I'm just going to pop that off real quick. Where's my Phillips screwdriver? So this isn't probably something you'll have to do, because obviously I've just done this. Unless you've mounted something else here. Okay, dokie. I'm not asking, son. I'm telling you, you're coming out. There you go. I put 2 nuts on it and reversed them so that I hold each other on, and they never come undone, so that worked well. Okay, get rid of that. There you go. So that's that solenoid. I'll just put that aside for now. Don't forget to hook that back up later. Alright, so now this plate is what we need to remove. There's a few extra clips and stuff on it. Like I said, I need to get these clips undone. Guess that's what these pliers are for. Come on. There you go. Awesome. So now that I've got that piece out, I'm going to just move that out of the way. I'm going to grab my new piece right here. So as I was saying before, like it's just moved that 1 inch in. I should be able to just clip this straight in, like, there you go in. So that one just clips back in. This one on the other side here should also just clip back in. A little bit fiddly, but nothing too stressful. As long as you got tiny hands. Which are not, there you go. Alright, so I have come across a little bit of an issue. So this new plate has holes at the top and the bottom where these screws go through. Problem is that the screws that are supposed to screw to it are actually proper mounted part of the actual kit itself. So you can see that screw is actually part of it. If I smash it with a hammer, it doesn't come off, and that is what my screw was originally connected to, and that's where the ECU was sitting. So I need to find another one of these. There's a whole bunch of stuff that came with the kit. I'm not too sure if it's for the Snorkel kit or for this, but I just might go raid my own supply and see if I can find some bolts for it. So see you in a sec. Okay, so I'm just tightening up the bottom screw on the bottom there. And instead of putting the big screw through the top here like I was going to, if you just want to come a little bit closer so you can see the detail, what I'm going to do is actually use the little tiny original screw that I had for my, what's it called, this thing, solenoid. So I'm just going to put that through here, and that's going to come through the back. And then that is actually going to end up being my mounting screw for the actual ECU as well. So just put that one on and put this one on backwards. There you go. So what I'll do is I'll just tighten that up real quick. Boom. Alrighty, so if you just want to have a quick look, if you just want to pass me the camera, I'll show you what I've done. So with my original install, like I had to remove this screw here, and this screw here. There was also the 2 ECU mounts, one there and one here. So I've taken all of those out, put this new plate in, and it's actually, I don't know if you can really see it from this point, but it's actually moved the ECU from about here to right up against the battery. There's actually literally no space between the battery now. It's very, very cozy. And that's a solenoid that I took off for my spotlights, and then I put it back on there as well. So that's the ECU done. All right, so these little washers with the rubber bits on them will go straight into here. So one goes in there, and one goes into here. Now, once again, this is into plastic. There is a little middle burr inside there, but still, it's probably a good idea to not tighten those too tight. I'm just going to just a bit of a turn on them. There you go. So they're like finger tight. They're not going anywhere though. Alright, so this is where the fun begins. We are now getting to the fun part, actually putting in the big proper metal bit. Now before we do that, there's actually a giant hole in the bottom of it right here, and there is a bung like this with a fancy little thin top at the top of it, so when it's upside down, water can go out, but water can't come up. And that should just fit straight into this hole. And just give it a bit of a squeeze your fingers. There you go. And so you have that hole. So now this will sit underneath the airbox, as you can see, like that. So like no water can splash up into it, but water can definitely drain out of it. Now there is a mount at the front here, which is this big knobbly bit here. I don't know if you can see that. And there's also these two mounts here. So these two mounts here will actually sit over the top of those two screws we just put in, and the big knobby bit goes into the original mount, which is this little rubber hole right here. So you just need to line those up. There and there. That was pretty easy. And then that bit just pops in like that. So that should line up nice and neatly around here, because we should have an extra screw that can go right in there. So where would that come from? Yeah, so one of the screws that was originally provided should just go straight back in here and then bring it all into line. Screw that in, and that's it. So that's right in place now. Easy as that. Okay, so now that this bottom plate is in, it's actually part of the car. Pretty much got one last step left, and that is to put the top part on, mount it to the air intake at the back, put the actual filter in between the two. It's actually got a nice big rubber flange around the outside, and that's what actually acts as the seal between the two middle boxes. There's no actual rubber or anything on here. We then hook up the air pipe back into it, and then we can give it a bit of a test. So here we go. So pretty much the next step, probably the easiest part, would be to put the lid on first and then squeeze this in between. So I'll do that. So this is the lid here, and as you can see, it's got the big top part there that just fits straight on. It just sits this way with the larger side to the bottom. Obviously the whole thing is on a bit of an angle. So yeah, we're just going to squeeze that in. So 1 second. Make sure the collar is facing upwards so it doesn't get caught underneath, because there's not much space underneath. So just get that bottom edge on. There you go, and just push that straight on, easy as. With a flathead screwdriver, just give this a couple of turns. You know you're going the right way because the little tab is now starting to come out. Easy as that. So that is now connected to that. And as you can see, that lines up nice and neatly. At this point, we'll be able to connect to this hose up as well, which should just stretch over to this. Should just, there you go, come on back on. There you go. You can put a cable tie, like another one of these cable straps on here, if you were just going to leave this, but because I'm going to take this out very shortly and actually start doing the Snorkel kit, I'm just going to leave that as it is for now. I don't really need that collar on there. Don't forget to put this sound dampener back on. Oh, there you go. So, very last piece, the filter. Now the filter has a mesh on one side and fins on the other, the louvers as they're called. So what you want to do is make sure the louvers are facing upwards. So then all of the, if you get like leaves or rubbish or anything, will actually get stuck on that mesh, and they won't actually end up going through the filter or getting jammed in the fins, especially with like big chunky bits of mud or whatever, but should be right for this. So if you just lift that up, tuck that in underneath, careful not to catch the fins on anything. There you go, and that whole thing should just sandwich between the two, top and the bottom. Line it up as best as you can. And these little guys, you just want to come in nice and close. You can see this is pretty standard stuff. It's got a little ringlet, just goes over top of the bottom hook and then just flicks up. And it's nice and tight. And there's two on this side too. So just give me a second to put a little bit out of line. There you go. Come on. There you go. And one last one. There you go. And that's it. It is done. So now, pretty much the only thing we can do now is test it. So I might go jump at the car and take it for a bit of a spin. We can go from there. That'll be awesome. All right, just backing out of the driveway now. And I'm just gonna have a bit of a test to see how this thing goes. Oh, hello, where did that come from? What is this? like this is actually pretty freaking quick. Like, I mean, it's not insane by any means, but I mean, wow, like it's a notable difference, hey? Like it is actually quite zippy now, which is not a word I'd use to describe a Jimny. They're normally slow and sluggish and just a little bit rubbish, but this guy has definitely got some pep in his step, I'm telling you. Like it's actually made a huge improvement when it comes to the handling. I'm just gonna jump on this other road over here and see what's... You put your foot down. Yeah, boy! This is great! Now, I'm not going super fast. I'm only doing 60. I'm in the suburbs here. So, but getting up to that speed, like, it's... Like, it moves. Like, it hustles. Like, I'm really well impressed. Hey, like, it's insane how much difference just a slightly larger air intake will go and get you obviously a bit more performance out of your vehicle. So yeah, saying that, I mean, it was a pretty easy installation. It didn't take me that long to do, and in all honesty, like the performance increase is huge. Yeah, wow, like I'm super impressed.
Do you want to try going on the highway and see what that's like?
Yeah, let's do it, hey? So we just stopped at the traffic lights now, and I'm just about to jump onto the highway. So I'm just gonna just go from a standing start and see how well this car does. Here we go. Obviously got to go a little bit slow through the roadworks and whatnot. But once we get around this corner, I'm doing 40 in second gear. Hello. This is actually way
Oh my god,
better.
are you overtaking?
Yeah, I'm overtaking people on the highway in a Jimny. Like, I actually just said that, and that is the truth. Like, I mean, every moment everyone's doing 80 because, you know, there's a little bit of traffic around. So I'm just going to see if I can get into a little bit of open highway. There's a speed camera just up ahead, so I don't want to speed through that. But yeah, so I'm now cruising down the highway, doing 90, just gonna sneak up to 100. Yeah, so now I'm sitting in 100 Ks, easily have way more power here than I need, than I had before. It is actually really impressive how much difference just opening up that airway does. Having a bigger airbox doesn't seem like a really big thing performance-wise, but yeah, no, it's pretty amazing what you can do. So I'm just doing 100 now. It just dropped down to 4th, and yeah, I'm accelerating uphill. So
amazing.
I don't know what to say. Like, I am blown away by this. I'm so glad that I got it. Highly recommend it to anyone else who wants to get a little bit more pep and a little bit more power out of their Jimny and make it feel a little bit more zippy, because before it was kind of feeling like a small truck, whereas now it just kind of feels like a big hatchback, which is great because, you know, it's my daily drive and I really enjoy driving. So to be able to have a car that actually, you know, has a bit of a zip to it, makes it way more fun to drive. So once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you see us on Instagram, you see us on YouTube, please leave a comment. I'm always happy to answer any questions you have for us. And other than that, I guess I will see you out on the tracks. Catch you later. All right, one more thing I'd just like to add. A big, huge thank you to Torqit themselves for hooking us up with all of the gear. It's amazing stuff, to be honest. Like, I'm really impressed with it. The build quality is fantastic. Everything about it was really good. It's super easy to install. They supplied all the parts and stuff I needed. And yeah, the instructions were clear and straightforward, and the whole installation process only took me a few hours. So huge upgrade for your performance. Excellent bit of kit to get for your car, especially if you want to get a bit more pep and a bit more pizzazz out of your Jimny. So once again, thank you so much, Torqit. It's been excellent doing business with you.